Hi guys, it's your girl Remedy and I am coming at you with a different kind of video today. I'm not doing my usual hair spin or makeup. I am doing the mixed girl tag, and Hello Hayes actually tagged me to do this like many moons ago. I'm sorry that I've taken so long. Yes, I'm going to be doing the mixed girl tag, and I probably best to just jump straight in there. So, what are you mixed with? Well, my mum is Nigerian and Sierra Leonean, both West African countries, and my dad is Sierra Leonean, Lebanese, and Iranian. But seeing him, you probably wouldn't believe that he's got any black in him. He's a little bit like Mariah Carey in that way, who's like a fraction black, and you wouldn't really necessarily guess by looking at her. So my dad's a little bit like that. I mean, you guys have seen my mum in the Big Chop video, possibly. If not, check it out. She's beautiful. So yeah, I get my cheekbones from my mummy. What ethnicity have you been mistaken for? A lot of them. And like the other day, I was in Westfields, and this sales assistant came up to me. She's like, "Are you Habiba's sister?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Oh, but you must be Sudanese, right?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, you know what? I'm from Sudan," and I would have sworn I would be able to pick you out of a lineup of a million people and say she is definitely Sudanese. And I was like, "Yeah, no, not at all, not at all." And so I get stuff like that all the time. Eritrean I've been mistaken for, Moroccan, Somalian, Egyptian, what else? Oh, I was getting my eyebrows threaded, and this lady fully started speaking to me in Hindi, and I was like, "I'm really sorry, I don't speak Hindi." And she was like, "Oh, you young people, you know, you've completely forgotten your culture, you don't even know how to speak your language." And she was like telling me off, like as an Indian woman to an Indian younger person / woman. And I was like, "No, I'm actually not Indian." And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." So, I mean, I get that sometimes. Is there anything else I've been mistaken for? Oh, Jamaican, West Indian, Trinidadian. I get that. Yeah, people think that I'm Trini. I'm not. So yeah, those are the races that I get mistaken for sometimes. Is your hair curly or straight? Well, you can't really tell right now, but yeah, my hair is actually curly. Curly and proud, people. Curly and proud. Was coming from different backgrounds challenging growing up? Yes and no. I mean, yes, because of some ignorant people. And no, because I just kind of didn't pay too much mind to it. I wasn't one of those people that went home and just, you know, worried about the fact that I didn't fit in, or that I was different, or, you know, people's opinions. I mean, even from a young age, it was just like water off a duck's back. There were some ignorant people, and there were some ignorant things said. I do feel that certain people, I mean, even members of the family, who I think treated me differently because I was mixed race. I mean, even from my dad's side, it was like, oh, some of them I think were like, oh, there go the mulatto kids. And it wasn't like my dad's sisters or my dad's sister or brothers or anything like that, because obviously they were mixed too. But certain members of my dad's side of the family who wished he hadn't been born mixed and we hadn't been born mixed, I kind of sensed that we were treated a bit different. And to be honest, some people from my mum's side as well. And it was funny because growing up, I spent about 5 years of my childhood in West Africa, and I think that was where the whole race issue probably had its largest significance when I was growing up in Africa. The Lebanese kids did not accept me at all, and neither did the black kids. I was called mulatto, mulatta, doti mulatta, which means dirty mulatto, volhia, which translates like chicken feathers for hair, by the black kids. They were, I don't know if it was supposed to be a compliment, but yeah, I would get called that. And the Lebanese kids were like, that's not your dad, stop begging, stop pretending that you are Arab. And yeah, so on both sides I was kind of not accepted, but I really didn't, I don't know, I was thick-skinned, I really didn't care. That said, the school that I went to in West Africa, which I will not name, it actually had a separate staff room for black staff and a separate staff room for the Lebanese staff. Now, it wasn't labelled as such, but the black staff knew where they were allowed to go, and the white Lebanese staff knew where they would go. And it was so stark, the contrast between the two rooms. Now, the Lebanese staff room had dark mahogany Italian polished, a large sort of dining table, which I guess was used for marking books. It had lovely upholstery. It had soft cream leather chairs. It had air conditioning. It had a little fridge. It was immaculate. And then if you wanted to ever speak to a black teacher, you know, about your homework or anything like that, you walked up the corridor and there was this room which had cracks in the actual pane. It had damp in the wall. It had broken furniture, which they didn't want to have elsewhere in the school. It had a water fountain. And that was where the black staff were. This was in Africa, and this was in the 90s. Hello. Shocking. It is shocking. I know some people are going to find it hard to believe, but if you went to school in Sierra Leone and you were from Freetown, you know which school I'm talking about, and you will be able to vouch for what I'm saying. It may have changed. It may have changed, you know, in the last 20 years, but 20 years ago, that was the situation. So you can imagine then how the mixed and black kids were treated by the staff, and they were brutal. They did the whole whipping thing, knuckles up, fingernails up, you know, all of that, and you know who was getting the most beats. It weren't the Lebanese kids. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, I got rapped a couple of times, but hey ho. It was unjust, and there were times when I got teachers, they expected that I would just accept it. Even though I'm quite blasé, I'm like, yeah, it happened. I'm not crying about it now. I didn't just accept it at the time. If I was punished unjustly or treated unfairly, I was one of those people who would go home and tell my parents, and I would go with them to the principal's office and say whatever not. What they decided to do with it then, that was, you know, I had done my thing and I had reported what had happened. So, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I know one teacher was quite severely reprimanded for her treatment of me. It was actually pretty brutal. Do I want to share this with the world? Yeah. Yeah, there was one particular classroom which had been littered during lunch break, and our lesson was happening in this classroom after lunch break. And this particular teacher came in, and she was in a huff. She was like you know, the class was in such a mess, and of course, who gets picked up to clean up the mess, even though she was not within 100 feet of the classroom during her lunchtime? The brownie. She made me pick up all the litter, and she was like, when you pick up that litter, I want you to put it into your mouth first before you put it into the bin. She weren't playing neither. So as she was starting the lesson, I kind of was like, I'm not putting it in my mouth. I was just like picked up all the litter, and I was quickly trying to get it all in the bin before she noticed I wasn't actually listening to her. And I had like the last piece of rubbish in my hand, and I was about to put it into the bin, and she was like, no, you deserve to put it into your mouth before you put it into the bin. And yeah, she made me do it she had a meter stick in hand, and she made me do it in front of the whole class. Now, I was the only girl of color in that class. And the hurtful thing about it is that I heard later on, one of the Lebanese girls, when another teacher was having a hard time controlling the class, one of the Lebanese girls said, you know how you need to treat these black kids? You should make them put rubbish in their mouth, because then they won't talk back to you, and then they'll really behave, and then they'll know how they're supposed to be. And I remember this girl. I remember what she was wearing. I remember her little pigtails, and yeah, that was I guess my most hurtful experience growing up as a mixed race kid. Have you ever been teased for being different? Yes. Like I said, they used to call me chicken hair, the black kids. And well, the Lebanese kids just didn't even talk to me. So apart from my Lebanese family members, yeah, I was teased for being different. Yes. Have you ever been ashamed of being multiracial? No, heck no, absolutely not. I could never imagine I wouldn't want to be anything else. I am proud of who I am. I love being me, and I really would not want to be anyone else or any other racial heritage at all. I am very proud of being mixed. Do you feel being mixed has its benefits? Yes, I do. I do think being mixed has its benefits. I think that if you're of a mixed background, you may be more tolerant, or maybe more understanding of other cultures. Possibly. Not to say people who are from one particular background aren't tolerant and, don't celebrate other cultures, but I think that being of a mixed heritage, maybe you're a bit more so. What makes being multiracial a beautiful thing? I would say being able to celebrate the beauty of more than one culture, 2 or more cultures, is amazing. I mean, being proud of whatever your heritage is an awesome thing, but being able to be proud of more than one heritage, it's pretty awesome. Also, I'm a massive foodie. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm a massive foodie. So being able to cook authentically foods from more than one background and thoroughly enjoy foods from more than one background is a major plus for me. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, yes, being able to celebrate more than one culture, and being able to affiliate with more than one culture, I think is probably the most beautiful thing about being biracial. Do you have any advice for someone who struggles with their multiracial identity? Yes. Yes, I do. You are beautiful. You are the creation of God's hands. You are his art. You are his handiwork. He knit you together in your mother's womb, and you are perfect, and you are beautiful, and you are loved. And if people are too ignorant to understand and to celebrate the beauty in a heritage or culture other than their own, then more fool them. They are missing out on being friends with, a whole heap of people. They're missing out on being friends with you, and it's their loss, because at the end of the day, if you're going to cut yourself off to a category of people simply because of their skin color, or simply because they're mixed or they look different, then honestly, you are the sorest loser, because there's going to be so many relationships and conversations and things that you would have been enriched by if you had been open-minded that you will never get to experience. And it's your loss, haters. So chin up, love yourself. Diversity, being mixed is beautiful. Being of one ethnic background is beautiful. Celebrate and love you for who you are. I truly believe that you are an art piece, a masterpiece by the creator of the universe, and he can do no wrong. So just click them fingers and you just keep your chin up and forget the haters. Anyway, I guess this is the end of the Mixed Girl Tag. I hope you feel like you got to know me a bit better. Please leave your comments below. Have you had any encounters with racism? Are you mixed? I'd love to know what the racial backgrounds are of my subscribers. Where are you from? What country are you from? What is your background? Have you had any encounters with ignorant people? What fun thing did you do recently to celebrate your culture or your heritage? I'm actually tomorrow going to be going to my uncle-in-law's home, and we're going to be celebrating Diwali together tomorrow. Now, I'm Christian and they're Hindu, and I can't partake of their prayers, but I'm there to celebrate with them. It's a festivity within their culture, and it's an excuse for family to get together. Yes, I can't do the prayers, but heck yeah, I will go and eat some amazing curry and do fireworks. Why not? So leave your comments down below. What fun things are you doing to celebrate your culture, or what fun thing have you done recently in celebration of your culture? Okay, much love, peace, and blessings. Bye.